Venezuelan drug boats led to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Now, before some of you freak out, I'm speaking about the ideology of our military bombing those Venezuelan drug boats and the ideology of Tyler Robinson assassinating Charlie Kirk. Look, the reason why I think these are kind of comparable incidents in the fact of their morality is the U.S. government is saying essentially force doctrine might makes right. When we discuss morality, people discuss, oh, were those war crimes? Were they not war crimes? Can the United States do that? We bombed a boat. Does trafficking drugs result in the death penalty with no trial? Not really, let's be honest, even if you support cracking down on the narco-terrorist, whatever. I've never even heard of that term until this year, but even if you support that, I think it's pretty obvious that, bombing them and then once all the drugs were at the bottom of the ocean, killing the survivors seems a little extreme. I think everybody can admit that. But with that being said, the Venezuelans, they have their morality argument, and the United States military has their morality argument, and the United States won. So regardless of what you think about, was that moral, was that not moral, what about the Venezuelans' moral compass, and what did they think? They died. And as brutal as that sounds, as cruel as that sounds, at the end of the day, if you're not able to defend yourself, if the opposition has a superior force to you, it doesn't really matter what you think. And that is very unfortunate, obviously, because, it's kind of an animalistic existence in terms of, if someone more powerful than you or if someone with a mechanical advantage, in Tyler Robinson's case, over Charlie Kirk, if they want to take you out, unfortunately they can. And I think that's kind of the same argument with Tyler Robinson, is he viewed, I guess, Charlie Kirk as a bad guy that deserved the punishment. The same way our military viewed Venezuelans as bad guys that deserved the punishment. Now, I'm not making this as a one-to-one, because if what the government is saying with these Venezuelan drug boats, I guess hypothetically those people would have killed Americans in the future. It's not totally sure because Venezuela doesn't export fentanyl, so what kind of drugs were these? Were these drugs that people would get addicted to and their quality of life would get worse? I don't think the Venezuelans we killed were going to be killing any Americans, but for sure they were bad people. I don't think there's any debate on that. And for sure, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I don't think Charlie Kirk is a bad guy, although I do disagree with him in politics. I'm not making a one-to-one comparison in terms of saying that the Tyler Robinson thing was okay, but I also don't think the Venezuelan drug boat killing was okay. I think those people were worse, to be clear. But at the end of the day, it kind of is the same ideology. And that ideology is might makes right. We view this group or this person or this team as bad, and we're going to do whatever it takes to destroy them. Because they did X, and although we're going to do a lot worse, because we did a lot worse to those drug boats than what they did to us. They did a 1 out of 10 on the harm scale, and we did a 10 out of 10. We just eliminated them completely. But the logic behind it is they can't do anything to stop us. So if you do anything we don't like and we have the force over you, we win. And that was kind of what Tyler Robinson thought as well. He thought that this person deserved a punishment, and because he had the ability to do it, he finished it, which I kind of find as a dangerous ideology in both cases. Obviously that kind of vigilante attacks like a Tyler Robinson seems more problematic, because in terms of the government, it's less likely that they do something as horrific, but obviously our government's done a lot of bad stuff. But yeah, I don't like the, and maybe it is kind of just a force of nature. If you have that superiority in terms of, I could, blow up your boat or whatever, I guess it doesn't really matter. So at the end of the day, I'm giving my opinion. I think both these situations are kind of ridiculous. It doesn't really matter what my opinion is because there isn't anything I can do to mitigate the situation.